Chael, what was the deal with Vanderlay and his clogged nose today?
Oh man, that whole thing was bizarre for me. I couldn't understand it. No reporters were asking him questions. I couldn't believe it. They were talking to plexiglass on a one-way. Vanderlay couldn't even see them. It's like, hey man, there's a certain level of respect that you have to show the media to get the media to cover you. He showed them opposite respect, and they still wanted to cover him. So in the end, I think everything worked out for Vanderlay.
Would you be on the Mount Rushmore of MMA?
Yeah, I think that's probably right. You know, Jon Jones was a tough son of a bitch. I will give Jon Jones that one. Now, I did almost have him because of that exploding toe. I appreciate you bringing that up. I got done with Jon Jones, and my coach and I sit down. We break down every fight. When it's a win or lose, we sit down. I sit down with Clayton. We break the whole thing down, except Jon Jones. When I was done with Jon, I was like, I get it. You go over there and enjoy your run. I will be over here in the corner with the dunce cap.
He's pretty good.
He was a different deal, man. You know, and there was a size thing too there. I moved to light heavyweight, but Jon Jones was a special talent. I think he deserves that to be said about it.
What happened in the Tito fight? You said he did a verbal tap.
Tito screamed tap. And I let a choke go, and that's what happened.
Because I was watching him, you had him in guillotine, right?
I had him in a choke. I don't know if it was the guillotine yet. Eventually, I went into a guillotine, which cost me a position. Tito won that fight fair and square. If I was in Tito's shoes, I wouldn't say I said tap either.
Was it a choke or a neck crank that he got you?
That he had me in?
Right.
He had me in a choke.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because like you couldn't really tell on TV.
Yeah, he had me in a choke.
How was your preparation different going into this fight? Are you doing anything else?
Well, I tell you, I felt really good for the Tito fight, and regardless of the outcome, and it was a very shameful moment because Tito sucks, right? You lose to Tito. Nobody loses to Tito. So it was very shameful, but you want to be really careful. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. And I had great preparation with great coaches and great teammates, and I was ready to fight. And it was a simple case of identity. I thought it was a mental issue. I thought I showed mercy on a guy. But you know, we do have rules in the sport. If a guy says let me go, you let him go.
Right.
He said let me go. I let him go.
How excited are you to punch Vanderlay in the face finally?
Vanderlay Silva drives me bonkers. You know, he drives me absolutely nuts. We never got it right. He and I clashed right from the beginning. And some of it was just because of the respect of the business. He didn't understand the business. I feel like he still doesn't understand the business. Here we are headlining a show. We got Mayweather, the greatest heavyweight of this time, versus Fedor Emelianenko, the greatest heavyweight of all time. And they're not the main event. We are. Well, there's a big responsibility that comes with that. You got a lot of tickets to sell. You got a lot of people that you have to inform. This is on pay-per-view. It's not live and free on Spike. It's on pay-per-view. It's on Saturday night. It's not on Friday night. It's June 24th. There's a lot of things that you have to do. Tickets go on sale this Friday, Bellator.com. You've got to let people know this. There's a responsibility that comes with it. And if a guy doesn't understand the business, and I can't respect him within the business. Vanderlay Silva skips the press conference to say in a bathroom in a men's shelter somewhere in Rio. That's weird to me. I have a problem with that. I just think, look, there's some responsibilities that come with it. You know, I'm sitting up here on the stage with Fedor Emelianenko at a press conference, and Fedor, who appears to be a very nice guy, in fairness, he does appear to be a nice guy, but he grabs the mic and he says, I think there's too much talking. It's like, well, excuse me, genius, but this is a press conference, okay? We don't have watermelons and swords that we slash for the audience. We speak to the audience. You can't speak too much at a press conference. In fact, it's the only thing that you can do within the commission's rules if you want to stay licensed. So how about instead of complaining about the talking, you show up with something to say?
Why do you think he's so quiet?
Man, I don't know. That whole Fedor thing's a gimmick if I've ever seen one. I mean, first off, Fedor doesn't speak English, then his translator doesn't speak English or Russian. They'll ask Fedor, what do you think of Mitrione? And his translator will say to Fedor, what do you want to have for dinner tonight? How's steak? And Fedor will say, why are these Americans so stupid? And they'll go back and forth, and you never get the full answer. I don't get the whole thing. I don't know why any of these guys came. Somebody asked me today, why isn't Vanderlay Silva here? And I wanted to say, the real question is, why is Fedor Emelianenko is here? That's the question. Just set up the stage with Chael Sonnen and give me a microphone. I've sold out plenty of arenas. I've sold plenty tickets. I will do the same thing. I'm going to remind you guys, because I don't feel it was made a big enough deal of. First off, King Mo's fighting Rampage, live, free, and only on Spike TV. That's going down Friday. Second thing that goes down Friday is tickets go on sale at Bellator.com for the biggest pay-per-view event of the year, June 24th. Mark it on your calendar.
So I thought it was an unbelievable gangster move that you offered to fill in for Matt Mitrione when he had those kidney stones. Are you eyeing up a Fedor fight after this?
I couldn't possibly care less, man. I mean, Fedor's a fine fighter. Anybody else is a fine fight. You got to understand, I've beaten really good fighters, and I've lost to guys that suck. It doesn't have anything to do with Tito Ortiz, right? It doesn't have anything to do with it. The bottom line is, I was in California. Fedor was in California. I got a license to fight. He's got a license to fight. The show must go on. Anybody that puts himself in front of the business, in front of the industry, has no place in it. The industry and the sport and the company comes first. If the company needs a main event, I am a company guy and I'll fight. I am a gangster. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. And if it's Fedor, then it's Fedor.
Yeah, I know, because you
Talk to Scott about making a gangster relationship.
No. Listen, you know, Coker's great to work with. I got a contract for X amount of fights, and he brings me the fights, and I don't ask him any questions. I don't torture Coker for money or opportunities or main events. I don't bother him at all. He's got a lot of things to do. I got my place, and I fill in the cracks, man. If you work for a company, then you work for the company. And some guys don't understand this. I see guys arguing about money fights and blah, blah, blah. Man, I was fighting down at the dog park in the 90s in front of my mom and dad and a couple of other people, and there was no money. You know, guys don't understand the history of this sport. They don't understand the guys that helped set the table, and it wasn't just the fighters. The fighters like to come out and act that this whole thing's done because of us. This whole thing is done because of guys like you that show up and bring the camera and bring the media and bring the attention, because of the promoters, because of the PR team, because of the people in marketing and production. Everybody is involved with this, and when I see one fighter trying to act like they're making a show, or, you know, Vanderlay's over in Brazil, like his training's more important. Come on, man, what, you don't think they don't have workout gyms in New York City? I mean, come on, man, you can get a workout here. I'm getting workouts here. Just the whole thing strikes me as very bizarre. There's a reason that there's one guy that keeps on being at the top of the bill, and it's me.
On the topic of money fights, you had some breaking news with Mcgregor versus Mayweather. How do you get that info, A? And B, how do you see that playing out?
The biggest storyline of that fight that's never been talked about is how much the public disrespects boxing. The public dismisses boxing as a fringe, fake, and phony sport, and the public just might be right. The fact that you could take a guy who has never lost at professional boxing and put him in there with a guy who has never done professional boxing, and have a lot of people, including people in the industry of boxing, think that the guy who has never done it is going to beat your undefeated greatest of all time is an embarrassment for the sport. I come from wrestling, okay? The greatest wrestler America has right now is a young man named David Taylor. If you brought a guy over who had never wrestled before and put him against David Taylor, that match would be 30 seconds or less, and every wrestler would tell you that. And the disrespect that the public has shown to boxing has been absolutely mind-blowing to me, because I happen to respect the sport. I was an amateur boxer. I wanted to be an Olympian for boxing in the year 2000. I ended up going off and trying to wrestle, but I believe in the sport and I care about it. If Conor McGregor lasts 30 seconds with Floyd Mayweather, it discredits boxing, and I think he will. If Conor McGregor makes it out of one round with Floyd Mayweather, the entire sport of boxing is a fake, phony myth, and that's the kind of pressure that they're on. I happen to think boxing is real. I happen to think Floyd gets him out of there, but listen, I'm an MMA guy, and I'll be cheering for Conor, and I want to see that fight, and I think that fight's going to happen.
What is your prediction against Vanderlay? How do you see it going down?
Man, I can't see Vanderlay making it very long. I mean, Tito screen tap in less than 60 seconds, and Vanderlay's maybe a little better than Tito, because Tito's terrible, but he's still out of there in less than 5 minutes.
It's been an honor and a privilege.
It really has. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you that this happened. Thank you for covering our sport, my man. Thanks, buddy.